Hello, I'm Rebecca Pigram, Public Information Officer for Rockingham County. Today we are joined by House Representative Reese Pirtle. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I just wanted to sit down and talk with you. I know there's some language kind of going around in the North Carolina State Legislature, and I just wanted to sit down and have a good conversation with you. There is a proposed bill, some language going around called the Rural Tourism Incentive Program. Just kind of wanted to touch base with you and see kind of what's going on with that in Raleigh, in North Carolina.
Well, yeah, obviously, unless you live under a rock,
yeah,
it's been a lot of discussion, especially in our county. I represent all of Rockingham County, and so I've talked to a lot of people across the community, some passionately in favor of the language with the gaming districts, and some opposed. Had great conversations with my constituents, and it's like I said, it's always a joy, and it's really important too. You know, during having these conversations, even if we don't agree as community, as members of our community, to do so without being disagreeable is very important too.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, I think we all want what's best for Rockingham County. We may have different visions on how we want to get there. But this language that's going around will essentially create 3 rural gaming districts in Rockingham County, 2 in the northern part of the state, and 1 down around the Charlotte area. And then there's a 4th that may be proposed for the Lumbee Indians and the southeast part of the state. You know, when you start looking at this and start having the discussions, I think one of the things that really created the initial discussions was what the Commonwealth of Virginia did. You know, the Commonwealth of Virginia recently passed some legislation and allowed them to put 4 casinos in the southern part of Virginia. I think there's one in Portsmouth, one in Norfolk, of course, Danville, Virginia.
Right across the county line.
Right across the county line, and then in Bristol, Virginia. And so, you know, in North Carolina, you know, a lot of people don't realize this too. North Carolina already has 3 casinos.
Yep.
We have it on tribal land. The Cherokee have one in Cherokee. Mm-hmm. They have one in, I think it's Murphy. Okay. And then the Catawbas have one down in Kings Mountain. Mm-hmm. And I've had an opportunity to visit 2 of the 3. You know, actually, folks here know that I was a retired police chief, and I've shared with you before we got started that we have our annual conference, our winter conference. We've had it for the last 15 years, and I still go. Being a retired chief, I'm a lifelong member. Mm-hmm. I still go to that conference, and we have it in Cherokee. So I've been there. It's a nice facility. It has a lot of like what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
You know, we talk about a casino, but it's more than just that. There's a restaurant component. There's a hotel component. There's an event center / concert hall that's going to be included in this development.
So really, we should say it's an entertainment district.
It really is an entertainment district. You know, some of the people I talked to in the community, you know, was like, you know, Reese, I'm in favor of this, although I don't gamble per se. I would be very much enjoy the opportunity to go to a nice restaurant and maybe go to a concert at this facility. And so, you know, when I went to the one up in Cherokee, and I've never been to Las Vegas or any other casino out of like Las Vegas, but you know, I found it to be just a very nice facility. I mean, it really is. They are. And they put on a great conference, because I think it's just not us that goes. I think the Conference of District Attorneys goes, and the judges goes up there, and maybe the Sheriff's Association, I don't know. But they put on a good conference, a great host. There's so much to do besides the casino. So I feel very safe. Obviously, we would not continue to go there if it was a den of criminal activity afoot going on up there. So I've always felt very safe when I was in there.
Perfect. And so just to confirm, it's just language right now.
There's you know, I've seen, of course, I went on WRAL and printed off a copy of the draft legislation, but nothing's been filed. So there's really just language, and it's just been discussions to this point, whether it's going to be included in the budget or not. You know, that's still to be determined. But there's just language out there that identified the 3 locations. One's Rockingham, one's Nash, and one's Anson County. And these locations are economically depressed Tier 1 counties. But keep in mind the revenue sharing that's going to take place with these gaming districts would be shared with all Tier 1 and Tier 2 counties. Now the host county would get 5% of the revenue, but what they would not share as a host county is the hotel occupancy tax, the ad valorem tax, the property tax, ad valorem tax, the ABC tax, any of those taxes, they're going to stay right there in the county.
In the host county.
In the host county. And some of those rural counties that I shared with you earlier, those Tier 1 counties, a lot of those are economically depressed, much more so than Rockingham County. And this would be a significant impact to their communities too. Some of them don't have the resources that even we have, and their opportunity for economic growth, industrial recruitment is very limited based on what resources they have in that community. So this is not just going to be something that would benefit Rockingham County. It would benefit all of rural North Carolina. When we started looking at this and having the discussions I shared with you earlier, I looked at what they were doing in Danville and the impact that was having with the city, with the revenue that's producing there. And I think in the month of June they almost did $19 million.
Oh my word!
And I'm one of these guys, I like to see, feel, touch things. I'm a numbers guy too, but I like to. So I took it upon myself to ride up there and ride through the parking lot and look at the cars and see how many North Carolina tags was parked in their lot. And and I estimated on a low side somewhere between 60 and 80%.
Oh my word!
And if you do the math, and 75% of that money is coming from North Carolina, that's why this piece of legislation that we're talking about, it's not a why not. You know what? That sounds pretty good. Why not? It's more of I think of it as, what if we don't?
Right.
What if we don't? We lose those monies. We can argue about, out of the family budget, where that money comes from. Was it disposable income? All we can say is it's there. And the thing of it is those monies could help supplement our local dollars from everything from, talking about building schools. I know that there's discussions there. The local dollars used for that, the local dollars to help supplement our teachers. For our education. Yeah, county employees.
Fire departments, volunteers.
Fire departments. Yeah. There's a lot of opportunity that concerns me that is driving right up 29 into Danville, and our money is staying there. It's one of the things that I've shared with folks and in my conversation with folks on both sides of the issue is that, if you talk about is North Carolina a gambling state, I think the answer to that is yes, we are. We've got a lottery. You can log on your app on your phone and you can buy lottery tickets. You can drive to the convenience store. You can buy lottery tickets. It was just $1.58 billion given away. I'm sure that Rockingham County participated in, a lot of their citizens participated in trying to win that lottery, and I wish somebody had. But so, are we a gambling state? Yes. And it's right with Virginia, the location in Southern Virginia, those 4 casinos, but primarily the one in Danville. The proposal that's being discussed now is, do you want to drive 10 or 15 minutes into Virginia, or would you rather keep your dollars here in North Carolina and drive 15, 20 minutes to wherever it's located in North Carolina, in Rockingham County? Gotcha. So it's about retaining that revenue that we're hemorrhaging, and that's what's concerning. And it's not just Rockingham County. It's the counties that are also on the border of the other 3 locations in the state.
So we've talked about the gaming portion, the gaming language of this proposed bill. Let's talk a little bit about the economic impact that not only Rockingham County could see, but those other 3 counties could see. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Well, what's big about it is a $1.5 billion investment, which is about $500 million in each of the other host counties, 1,750 jobs in each of the other host counties. And when you talk about investment, we talked about how it's going to have a hotel, how it's going to have an event/concert hall and a casino. Well, there's restaurants that's going to come with that too. Folks that come and stay. When we have our conference up in Cherokee, we park. And we don't have to worry about going out to eat, because in there's a Ruth Crisp, there's a nice Italian restaurant, there's a restaurant, whatever you want to eat, you can find in there. So these types of restaurants are going to come. And plus 1,750 jobs. You know what? When we sit and when I was a county commissioner and we was part of some project recruitments, and we used incentives, county dollars incentives to recruit these folks. Well, that don't exist with this. You know what? This investment is the developer's investment, the developer's money, not counties. There's no incentive for them. They're going to make their own investment, and we're not going to spend tax dollars to incentivize them to come. That's a huge thing. And like I said, 5% of the gross plus the revenue, the ad valorem. Our rural fire department is going to get some help. There's just an opportunity. Like I said, it gets back to not why not, but what if we don't?
Exactly. Reese, thank you so much for your valuable time. You've given
absolutely.
us so much information just to digest and kind of break down kind of what's going on in the state legislature. I know it's a lot going on.
It's a lot. We hope to be out by September, maybe mid-September. We still got to finalize the budget. But one of the things that, as a result of this, and anytime we get any type of piece of legislation or some discussions about potential legislation, I hear from my constituents. I embrace that. You know what? Whether I agree or disagree with your position, I want to hear your position. I'm going to work hard to do whatever I can to always help you.
Absolutely.
When you have an issue, and if I can be of help. But at the end of the day, I'm going to try to do what I think is right for all the people of Rockingham County, and that's never going to change.
Absolutely. Well, Reese, like I said, thank you so much for your time
Thank
today.
you.
You've given us some wonderful information. Thank you guys at home for joining. We hope you learned some valuable information today.
Thank you.